Okay, we're live. All right. Hi, everyone who's here. So basically, my name is Jason Wydra. I've been working in the internet industry since the late 90s. I'm involved in kind of everything with the internet, and sometimes too many things. So I get a little bit scattered with what I'm doing because I have my hands in so many different things because I want to learn all the latest, greatest stuff, and I'm trying to also keep up with all my other stuff. And in the middle of it all, I like to take a break and go, I just want to do an educational thing to try to sort out some things that I've learned and share some valuable information. So anyway, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Anybody have any questions? Okay. So basically today what I wanted to do was go over some of the kind of a little bit of a historical thing, and then going into more modern and tying into it social media, and tying into it our normal, what we call organic optimization of using search engines naturally without paid advertising, without other methods. But first thing, and this is where the social media gals are they're gonna want to rebuttal me on this, but it's okay because that's the whole point, is to see some different sides here. Basically, does everyone here remember MySpace?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a lot of creation that went into that, and it was awesome as it was. I mean, everyone thought it was so cool. It was a way to promote your band. It was a way to promote your product. It was just unbelievable, and it was a really great resource for meeting people, communications, everything. And so what I categorize MySpace is as a third-party dependency. It's a dependency, meaning your business is now relying on this social avenue for its business. And you could rely on it a lot, or you could rely on it just enough so that it's working for you, but not where you're investing everything into it. So basically the point is that MySpace kind of went by the way of the boards, meaning that it kind of it's not really used anymore.
Unless you're a band.
Unless you're a band, but bands are. We're all pretty much in agreement that Facebook is your primary social media network now, and people went to Facebook because MySpace wasn't offering the same type of relationship and the safety, you could say. There were other features that Facebook brought into the picture that made it more safe, more comfortable, more feeling like you're dealing with your friends, as opposed to just all kinds of random things. Plus those long-winded posts we used to see with animated images and all the craziness that was going on. So anyway, the main point of that is that, and does everybody remember Yahoo? They're still around. In 2006, Google basically passed Yahoo in terms of traffic and basically traffic. And so a lot was invested in Yahoo and creating Yahoo, and before that, Yahoo was it. Really. I mean, there were other search engines, but Yahoo was like, you had your email, you had your other stuff there. Not everybody, but we had AOL, we had a lot of different things. But the main point is that if you're running a business or starting an online business, you want to utilize every tool that you have available. Any social network that's actually can be productive for you in terms of Facebook, Twitter, anything, you want to invest as much as you can in that, but really your website and your I know this is kind of off topic, but your email list and your website are your two most valuable long-term assets, because technology's changed so fast. A new product is created every minute every word that I say, there's a new product being created, a new technology that's being implemented, that somebody's using, a new social network that's being developed, and we have to be on top of our game and say, well, we can't put all of our eggs into, all of our efforts into Facebook, for example. So anyway, the point is thinking long-term. Try to always think long-term with your business. Think of, your website's always going to be there. You can always maintain your website. You can always maintain your contact list within your website or wherever you maintain that, but keeping all of that in a stable platform is that's your main go-to place. So, and how that ties into the search engines is that's how people find you. They generally find you, well, Facebook is indexed as well now, but people find you, they go to your website, they learn about you generally. Obviously, Facebook provides a total, complete interface, almost as much information as you can have on a website. You can buy products, everything through Facebook. So it's not like, but the point is that you see how you can get really carried away with a third party, and then not realizing that maybe in 3 years from now or 2 years from now, that there's a new technology that sweeps that out, and now you've established everything on this social network. And Facebook is going to hate you for this. But then does everybody get what I'm saying? Does it make sense? You know, so your website is your hub. You know, and you think of it that way, it's your long term. And the way that the percentages that I give it, I say, invest about 65 to 70% in your website. Everything else is kind of working the social networks. It's working them.
It's traffic to it.
It's traffic to your website, but it's not becoming so reliant on in the long term that you're setting yourself in a position where you need to rebuild your entire online presence when the technology changes, the next technology changes. And I don't want to sound like a bringer of fear, people like be afraid, this is going to go on for a long time. That's not the point. It's more of this technology changes so fast, and there's new solutions available all the time, and things are changing so fast right now that, you know, a lot of things could change in the next year. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, that's the first. I just wanted to start with that, so everyone kind of has an idea that, you know, focus on your email contacts are going to be your most valuable asset, and your website as a stable go-to place. Keep that as your stable place. Let's go. Sorry about that. I gotta go to the next subject. Okay, the next topic, I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit. So the way that technology works, you know, if you sell a product online, or you have a service, or you offer a service, or have a product, the whole game of the internet has been who can have the next best feature, who can make that product more available easily, who can make it more convenient, who can, you know, it's always like a step up. It's just business, you know, the next guy's upping the next guy. So we have this constant pattern of businesses that all offer a similar product or a comparable or competitive product, but you get different niches within those because one provider is offering something very unique. Like let's say we had a yarn store online, some random example, selling yarn. And let's say that there's 2,500 other yarn websites on the internet that you can buy. Is yarn the right word? It's you make clothes. Okay. It's not a hobby. It's just something I'm thinking of because it's a unique example. But let's think of yarn. Now let's say that there's all the prices are comparable. All the prices are comparable. The pictures are comparable. Everything. But one yarn website offers. You can order your yarn by the foot, or you can order it by 5 foot length. So you don't have to buy a whole roll. You can really, in other words, one guy is offering this very unique way to get your yarn. So you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. So you're just getting what you want, and it's all worked it well within the framework of their business. So the point is that with your online presence, particularly your website and the way that it interacts with people, is you want to offer something that simplifies the person's life or makes their life easier to attain the product.
Like a niche.
Like a niche, exactly. And that's what the internet is. It's just niche, branching and branching. And it's never going to stop that way because that's just the nature of it. But the more that you can understand your customer and make these options more convenient, the more that you're likely going to get referrals. People are going to talk about you. You're going to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, can anyone think of a website they've gone to and they just like it because it offers something simple and easier, or it's safer? Amazon, yeah, I always use Amazon as an example because Amazon is like the standard for online sales. Their policies, they're very strict on their policies. If anyone's ever had to return something to Amazon, they know it's like there's never a hassle. It's like, yep, your money's back, no problem, no questions, basically. So. And that's another topic, a whole other topic, but Amazon kind of sets the standard for online presence. So when someone buys something from you or your website, a lot of times they've already bought from Amazon, and they're going to be thinking with that, oh, no question dash refund, or they're going to be already thinking with that. So do you go, well, I'm a small business, I can't do that, and they go, well, I don't like you because you know. So you can kind of build a little animosity, and it makes it hard for the small business owner. But at the same time, that's where the small business owner has the next best idea or the next way to come a cut above what everyone else is doing. So if you're now offering, if you have 25 competitors and you're now offering, hey, we don't charge shipping anymore, but everyone else is still charging shipping, but you found some way where maybe if they refer people, they get free shipping, and there's some other system that you've worked out that works for your demographic, your people, then you know what I mean? It's just it's that energetic creativity you have to kind of pump into. How can I be more creative? How can I give my customers more? Yeah, and it's not about like how can I beat Joe down the street. It's more like how can I just give the best possible service, the best possible product, the best possible everything within the framework of my online presence. How can I make that available through technology as well? So it's a customer service aspect, it's a technology aspect. I mean, obviously getting into business, other topics, but does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make a lot of sense? Am I saying things that everyone already kind of knows? Pretty much. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's okay. So anyway, the point is keep an idea of how you can offer something more, how you can offer something better, and yeah.
How could you do that with fun and direct sales? So my website is
Okay.
So how do you change it up essentially when you go to your site when it's their site really?
So you're selling through a third-party site,
Yeah.
Right? So basically, it's up to them. It's up to them to say, hey, we're going to add this new feature that makes your life easier. But it's also up to you to say, hey, we want this feature, and you could collectively get with others that are subscribers or members and say, hey, we need to all start writing them. We want this feature. Because in the development end, and I work in that life cycle too, that's how changes come about normally. Someone says, hey, it would be really nice if you had this. And then we hear it 100 times and we go, duh. People want it, you know?
Sure.
So contacting the company directly is probably your best bet. Try to write them if you have an idea, you know? And again, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, so like when I get ideas like that, I'm like, how could I build something? That kind of changes this whole game and makes this process easier, you know, for the individual. So my mind is a little different than some other people on the subject maybe about how I would approach it, but I look at it as an opportunity.
The company's really good about that.
Oh, that's great, and they have to be. You know, if they want to be competitive, and if they have a lot of competition, they have to be. And I'm sure they're aware of that. So, okay, so that was the first part. I hope everybody was able to get something from that, and that was just a kind of bunch of information. So now I'm going to jump into a different topic. How many people here actually own their own website? Okay. I know Caravan has a website. You guys have a website too. So I'm a big proponent of what's called open source. I'm just going to clarify this real fast. I'm not going to get into a big technical talk here on this. And I support a product called WordPress, as you can see. And I'll tell you, if you're going to go into business and you're going to build a website, WordPress is a great solution. It's free. You can actually get it for free. I mean, there's only so far you can go with it on your own. But the most important key factor is all of the code is accessible. And what I was talking about prior, being able to give the customers, your customers, what they're looking for. WordPress can be modified within the technological boundaries of the world to do exactly what you wanted to do for your customers. And the reason I bring this up because there are other solutions out there that are available they're third-party solutions. You can buy a website building kit and people use them and they work, you know, I know electricians and plumbers that don't have a big business. They just need something to get their presence up. They can add images and things. But when you're really getting competitive online and you're really on the market and you're really trying to compete, you've got to have that flexibility, and that goes into the next topic, which is adaptability, meaning that technology moves so fast that if you can't adapt to the market, what happened to, what happened to MySpace? What happened to Yahoo? I'm not saying that in a negative way, because I still like Yahoo and I still admired MySpace for what it was. But just using two real-life examples, there was a better idea, a better technology, an easier technology, a simpler. And if everyone remembers the Yahoo homepages, generally there was a lot of content. And I don't know if everyone remembers when Google came out, it was like just a box, like, whoa, I just type and search, like, I don't have to, do all these other things. And I know Yahoo had a simplified interface as well, but Google really brought something totally new to technology. So they dominated the market, and they're still they basically, they kind of own the internet. No way.
Is MySpace just gone?
No, I don't think it's gone. No, and people still use it. Apparently, bands are using it.
Primarily for music.
Isn't Jay-Z on it or something?
Yeah, it was bought out by. I think it was bought by a company, then I think it was sold again. Was it Justin?
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I think it was Justin
I
Timberlake.
was trying to remember who.
Yeah. So it definitely is still in use, and I'm not saying this to bash MySpace. It's more of just to give the perspective of how technology changes and how patterns and trends change. And again, on the point of the open source, all that means basically is the code is accessible. The code can be modified. Therefore, you can adapt. And it's all given within. Obviously you have budget constraints, you have time constraints, you have other factors that all come into a business, but it all has to be calculated into the entire equation, and that's where I go into the next thing. And this is a topic that I'm going to bring up because this applies to almost every business that I've worked with in the past. Not every business, but most businesses. It's an underestimation of efforts, basically. It's an underestimation of what it takes to be that competitive presence, to be that constantly on top of your game. And I'm just going to read. You have design, you have tech decisions, you have maintenance, you have bug resolutions, you have competitor updates, you have new products, customer support, marketing, new marketing, more marketing, marketing strategies and planning, different testing scenarios where you're testing different products and trying out different strategies, see if your customers like them or not. You have social media, more social media, more social media, copywriting, graphics, special features, industry-specific features. Like you guys have a really amazing product, a subscription service, for coffee. Someone can come to your site. They're a very busy schedule. They work all the time. They come on your site. They subscribe to your service, and they receive coffee once a month. They don't have to go to the store. Plus, they're supporting a very active group. It's locally, roasted, everything. So you guys have set a great model for that. And I use that as an example. It's we're at Caravan Coffee. But that in itself is just a really neat thing, and that makes life convenient for people that like quality coffee, that want something unique, that want to support a local business. So you have all all these factors, but it's an underestimation of effort in terms of what the online world is really about. It is a constant moving tidal wave of information and data that we're all trying to butt up against all the time, trying to move one way or the other, and then something changes or something this. And it's a very technologically involved thing because you have a lot of you have other users using it. So they're using this technology and they're trying to figure out how to use it, what's the best way to set it up, and every company is different, every demographic is different. So it's really, and again, if whoever came to my earlier talk, I talk a lot about demographic, and the importance of understanding your customer, having a very close relationship with your customer, knowing what they're really, what they really like, what's gonna make them feel like they're, a good customer, and they're valuable to you. So that was the main thing, was just the, there's several particular companies I worked with over the years that kind of have the idea that you build a website and then everything just happens. I wish it were that simple, I wish it were that beautiful. And I always use the analogy of back, when I was a kid in the 80s. There was like a store you'd drive by and see the sign and it looks so awesome and you're like, oh, I love going in there. They've got the coolest toys, or They've always, everything's so nice and clean, but it's just, it's to keep up a facility. There's a constant maintenance. There's a revolving maintenance. There's a resolving care. There's a resolving, oh, our sign light went out. We need to fix our light. I mean, there's just, everyone here can think of all the things that would go into just having a storefront, having a building. So you have, it applies exactly the same to your online presence. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed between the businesses that are only online now and just a storefront, and a lot of, like, you guys have a mix, you have a combination of both. So you're juggling both things, which adds an extra element. It adds an extra, complexity. Having both going. So you're kind of juggling a lot. But you have the store. You have the store that just has a store, but very little do we see what really goes into keeping that store in place. We always walk in and go, oh, it's so nice, but oh, what was done before to get the food prepared for the morning? What did they have to do the night before to make sure all the equipment was clean? And so there's all these little things that just accumulate, but that's what the internet is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and I always say the energy shifted from the online, the local store to the internet. Everything shifted into more like the effort hasn't changed. It's just more that it shifted into different areas. The expenditures haven't changed. It's shifted into different areas. So it's kind of like if you had someone cleaning the building all day long and making sure the bathrooms were clean. It was a normal routine thing. That could be applied to an internet. Something. More routine. So the only reason I say this is because I see businesses struggling and I see it being difficult, and it's really a change of mindset that you kind of have to work at to say, oh, wait a minute, this isn't just a website. This is a living, breathing online presence that needs that constant love and care. Yes.
My issue is I can get on the social media or whatever and spend 6 hours and feel like I'm done.
Yeah.
So how do you get it down to something reasonable where you're actually making a difference in 2-3 hours instead of 6-8 hours a day?
Well, there are. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you're trying. Are you trying to sell products or promote?
Promote.
Okay.
Get my company out there. It's fairly new. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what way to go. There's tools for that. There's tools for managing your social media. There's auto timer setting, auto posting tools you can get relatively cheap. I mean, there's all different ways you can kind of jockey and work that. There's different things you can try on that. In terms of getting people actually interested, I found another. I mean, and this is another part of just because it's on the internet doesn't mean people are out there looking for it. So it's kind of like sometimes we have to step way back and say, who's my customer? What are they going to pay for it? And do they want it? How much do these people want it? And so if you're spending 6-8 hours promoting something, it's day after day after day, and you're not really getting anything, maybe it's the demographic you're dealing with. Maybe Facebook isn't the right place to be doing it. Maybe going to a local event, and meeting. You know what I mean? Like maybe going to a local event and face to face. So and that's what another whole. We've all probably been online and looked for a marketing company maybe, and and we usually you just don't even want to get involved in it because it's like there's 1,000 options, right? But as a business owner, being an online presence business owner who's trying to make a successful online presence, you really have to really step back to basic one. I mean, almost imagine as if your website didn't even exist, and how would you approach things from that point on? What would you do to inspire some interest in your product? And I know, people put magnets, you know what I mean? Like the old ways, people put magnets on their cars and they talk to a friend or they call someone who, if it's a skin product, I'm not sure if that's what it is, but somebody who's having some skin trouble and you say, hey, why don't you try this out? And it works, you know what I mean? So you're just you're working, but once you've established that base, and again, it goes back to the email list, right? You're establishing your contacts. So what you want to do is then keep those contacts with the information they should know or need to know, but also help to grow your business. So, you know, referral campaigns and things when you have an email, you know, if they refer 10 customers or 5 customers, sometimes you can work out an exchange for them or something, you know. So there's a lot of different strategies, and to even get into the different technologies that are used for that is like, and that's another thing we face, you know, is just so many options. It's like, where do I go? It's either too expensive or it doesn't have what you need, or, you know, I mean, these are the normal things that business owners run into. And I can personally attest the most success that every client that I've worked with has had a personal relationship with their customers. They haven't relied on their website to just generate things and do everything. They really worked at keeping the relationship going, and they built that up. Just like you would at a store that somebody's walking into, and that's why I use that analogy. Somebody's coming in, you're greeting them, you have a new sign up on the door that says, hey, we now have this product available, or we're now serving, you know, beef pancakes, you know. We are in Oregon. I mean, come on. There's a beef protein bar at this stop down the street I saw, so I didn't try it yet, but they're going to go over social media like a lot more and get into how I'm more like just talking about the kind of the business cycle that happens online and how to. It's mainly a shift of the way you look at it. Just try to envision that your online presence is a store that people are walking into, and that you want to greet them, you want the products to be on the shelf available where they can see, and you want to direct them where they should go. You know, you go into a grocery store, and I use that as an example, and interestingly enough, the grocery store is a really good example, because you walk into a grocery store, and most of us know where the fruits and vegetables are going to be. We know where the spaghetti might be, we know where the meat's going to be, but how long a grocery store has been around, where we've been as kids going into them, right? So we're very familiar with this whole structure. The internet is relatively new, plus you have the combination of the competitiveness and the way that different companies organize their content and information. And so we create this kind of confused, where even customers like not sure if they're even on the right website sometimes, you know, looking for a product. So, but think of it in a way of a grocery store. Try to use that as your, you know, you're walking in and you're kind of saying, hey, what would this logically be under? Where would someone think of when they thought of this product? Where would that be located? And yeah, anyway, it's kind of back to basics, but it's something to think about. But yeah, just envision your person walking onto your website, and they're coming into your store, and they're looking, and
you have about 5 seconds.
Yeah, about 3 to 5 seconds, and that's why load speeds also come in a very important factor. You know, you have load speeds, and you go, you know, the site doesn't open. You know, most of us that did that, we just close it out, right? You're like, I'm not waiting. Unless it's like Amazon, and they're like, oh, I gotta buy something. Right. But anyway, does that kind of help at all? Does anybody get anything from that in terms of information? Okay. Now I was going to go over just some of the main thing I have. How are we doing on time? We're at 11:10 already. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, cool. Well, I wanted to go over 10 best practices of your online presence, basically. I mean, these are 10 things that are kind of the standard of today, and they don't include all the very specific details, but it's more of just an outline because we're obviously limited on time, and it should be pretty valuable to you. So the first thing is that your website needs to be clear and defined. You need to be able to, someone should come to your website and know exactly what you do, exactly what you're selling, how to purchase it, and any other information they can find about you without having to search too much, right? So short blurbs of information, a product blurb, you know, and again, this goes back to basic business management, like your mission statement, you know, things like that are really critical as a part of someone understanding immediately who you are and what you're trying to do. So having that immediately available for somebody can be a really valuable asset, not only for the visitor, but also for the search engine. So that's one thing. So kind of, have you ever gone to a website and you just weren't sure if you were at the right place? Like you're just like, I don't know if
That's the right name, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I've been guilty of it myself. Like I don't get much time to work on my own stuff, and I'm doing stuff for my customers, and that's great. So I have to like fight for my own time to figure out when I'm going to update my site, work on my stuff. But anyway, the idea is that you want to make people immediately when they come on, you want to make sure that they know what you do, what you're selling. And I always recommend trying to prioritize your products as well. You know, prioritize your services, meaning you want to have your most prominent thing up front. This is what I do. You know, I'm a plumber. I fix home bathrooms. I fix apartment bathrooms. I don't do commercial work. I mean, you might want to clarify, you know, however you're going to describe it, but kind of give people, they're like, oh, I found the right guy. And also your contact information, obviously. We all know this, you know, your basic contact info. And yeah, anyway, that mission statement can be really important, and it's really important that you work on that, because that in itself can be the defining factor if a customer knows if they're at the right website or not, if they're going to be able to, if you're going to be able to offer them what they're looking for. Okay, so we have functional and usability aspects. So we've all been to a website that didn't work, or you go in a shopping cart, you add a product, and then the page whites out, or you put your credit card information, and the page goes white. Right, so it happens. It does happen. Even the very best sites have had problems. Even Amazon, the multi-billion-dollar shopping mega awesomeness, has had problems in the past. So it's not uncommon to have an internet problem, but functionality is an important thing today. People expect something to work. They expect it to be able to add a product or click on a link and go to your About Us page and nothing comes up. They're like, I'm out of here. You know, that's unfortunately what we've come to. So anyway, functionality aspects are really important. So, and these are in no way in order of priority. I could say that the first one really is, I would say probably at the very top, but I'm kind of bouncing around on these. Okay, services, products, information, division, and organization. So all your products, your services, even if you have one or two products or a service you offer. And it's interesting because it's all about the goal in online presence, meaning you might not be trying to sell something. You might just be working at for a cause, or you might be working for a fundraiser, or you know, anything that's not related to getting sales. And it all applies. It all applies, you know. So this can be applied to. In other words, you don't have to have a shopping cart. I'm using it as a model. Does that make sense? So, sorry, they're like waving at me, showing me the clock. Patience. Okay, so anyway, the organization of your information and products is important, and again, whether you're a blogger just trying to get more followers or get people to interact with your content, having your content organized where people can relate and find what they're looking for is just kind of a normal thing, normal standard today. Modernization, responsive, and portability. Your website really should be accessible through smartphones, particularly if you. I mean, the ideal situation is you can sell a product, you can do everything you can on your smartphone that somebody can do on your website personally. And there's an evolution that's been going on for years, and it's nearly amazing the way it is now. But there's a lot of room for organization and order of the whole responsive part. And all responsive means is when you open up a website on your phone or your smaller screen, that it kind of adapts to the size of the screen so that you can scroll it, and it's not like you're having to zoom in. How am I going to read this text? Or you're filling out a form, like not being able to see anything. So that's all responsive really means, making it so, because the statistics tell us that everything is going smaller and mobile. We already know this. This is like, you know, people on a bus, on the airplane, ordering a product while they're on flight, you know, through Amazon or through their favorite coffee company. So, they're doing they're using these small devices to do their online stuff because the internet has become just very fast and very convenient, and it's like, why do I have to open up my big clunky computer when I can just sit here and order right now? So something to consider. Ratings, reviews, reputation management, obviously a very important thing. Google offers a very great platform for reviews. Most of you probably know this. If you have a Google business page, they offer a great platform of reviews. And the reviews can be pulled into your website from Google. Again, it's this third-party reliance and dependency that I was talking about earlier. When you start to get into relying on it would be awfully cruel if they ever pulled the reviews, because you could have built 100 over a few years and really great reviews, and then maybe Google says we can't offer reviews anymore. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying so having multiple sources of reviews is also a good idea. Meaning, if you can get a personal review from your customer, put it directly on their website, if it's okay with them, and then having Google reviews, having Facebook reviews also can be very helpful. So working the review strategy is really important today, particularly because a lot of reviews are actually indexed now in the search engines. When somebody searches for your company, they might see 4 or 5 stars right at the top, so they know that you're credible. So yeah, but that's a really important one, and I would almost put that at like number 2, where people, and I know Marcus, you were talking about that earlier, reviews and finding a way to really, because you have so many, that it's a great way to make use of them,
If you have competition, it's really important because someone will make a decision. They go to Yelp for food or something like that. The decision will be made in 2 seconds based on if another company has or another restaurant has half a star more, that will go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but you have again, back to Amazon. We all, before we buy something on Amazon, we go to buy our favorite pair of sweatpants. We're like, oh wait, there's a bunch of reviews that say they changed to, they changed colors in the wash machine. So we're like, oh, that's a bummer. That's my favorite color. So I'm not going to buy those, But anyway, Amazon, again, going back to that standard, using Amazon as a guideline, particularly if you're selling online, selling a tangible product, that is a really good guideline. I'm almost done, guys. Okay, now I'm just going to jump into articles, educational, informational, stories, news, goodwill events, anything that's positive that you can share with your customers, your user base, is really, really valuable. A great story, a great success, something great that happened. Somebody got promoted in the shop. Sharing it with your people and making it feel like they're part of your community. They're part of your group. They're your customer, but they're also that person that you care about. They care about you. So you're keeping them kind of in the loop with your business, with what you're doing. I just use that as an example. Like an employee of the month, or so and so volunteered at the so and so goodwill event and helped something, whatever it might be, right? So these things are really great because people generally like positive things, and we see enough negativity online as it is. All we have to do is open up a news website, and it's all the most horrible things. So people like to see something that makes their day feel a little better. And that's not only that goes a little bit beyond just technology, but it's more of how can you make your business a bit of a source of enjoyment for others to learn about you and feel like they're a part of it. So if that makes sense. Online, offline, okay, we have referral system. Finding ways to negotiate a referral system is really largely where it's at today next to email. Email is by far, direct communication by email is by far the most effective method by statistics to generate new business. And again, every demographic is different, and it's real easy to cross that line with email because you can jump into the spam field real fast, right? So you need to, it's like Facebook, it's moderation. It's moderation, and it's understanding your customers, understanding what they like to know about. If they're buying your product because for example, you guys offer coffee that is responsibly sourced, right? This is very important. I prefer to buy coffee that's attained in a very specific way, only because I know I'm not buying coffee from the company who knows how they're getting it, right? So, and that's just my opinion, you know. But you guys have a very unique thing, and that's really great. So, and a lot of customers might really like that aspect of what Caravan does. You know, I'm assuming they do. So it is a very, it's one of those, again, one of those kind of things that, and I know you guys provide a lot of information on your website about it already, and you kind of give all the breakdown of how it works and that, which is beautiful. But even keeping your customers in the loop a little bit too on a change or a new thing, and I think you guys do to some capacity, but that's how it can be really effective. And how well does your online presence stack up against your competitors? You know, do you have a face? Do you have a phone number? Are you a real person? Are you just an ordering system? You know, I find a smaller business that have a face, that are a real person, that has a phone number, and they're like, they have kids and they have a real life that everyone can kind of relate to. Often people feel more comfortable calling them, like they're talking to a person. You know, they're not talking to a machine or some system that says, please enter your name, enter your credit card. You know. Anyway, so that's another point. You know, if you're a smaller business, I highly recommend a much more as personal as you can be, but try to maintain that through the growth of your business the whole way. Try to maintain that personal connection as much as possible. I'm running way past my time here, I think. Okay, so the other thing, there's just a lot of other technical factors that come in terms of your actual website. For you, because you're using a third party, they're kind of taking care of all that. But it's important that your code is developed properly, that, in a nutshell, Google uses a tremendous amount of little mathematical things, I'll use very simple terms, to determine where they're going to position your site. You know, when someone searches local coffee in Newberg, Oregon, which everyone should search right now. You know, if somebody searches that, you guys want to come up at the top, right? You want to be always at that first position. So ensuring that all of these, I'm just going to be very general, but 200 plus characteristics that your website's made of, plus all these other additional factors, all into one big ball that Google takes into account before they show your page. And it happens in a split second. You know how fast you type and then the results are already showing up. So that's how fast that calculation happens. But it's everything that you've got going on within your website internally, the code structure. Anyway, I could do a whole novel on this topic, but it is important that the quality of your website is, and that's why I recommend WordPress, because out of the box, it's already developed very intelligently. As a matter of fact, some of Google's leading chief managers actually recommended it publicly as a platform. So it is known, and I know from personal experience that it is a great resource. Like I said, you know, you can get it for free. There's different ways to get it, and you can even set it up for free, like without even having a developer involved. So if you need a blog or something, you have these options. But you know, for companies that have, again, once you get into the real competitive market, you've got to think about flexibility and how you're going to adapt and how you're going to change and what you can offer. And you know, kind of like Caravan, they've done a lot of custom stuff that has made them very unique for their customer, which is really, really fantastic. Anyway, I think that's about it. I mean, I could just go on and on, but does anybody have any immediate questions? I'm going to turn this over because I'm running a little bit behind schedule. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, maybe we'll do questions at the end because it's kind of all.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
This one has what's like. April? Okay. So since we have a little bit of a smaller crowd, I was thinking I can do a video and I'll just kind of hold it up, or I can just read off the quotes. This is just about social media, and I like these videos because they give you very quickly some statistics about where we're at with social media right now and how important it is. What do you think? It's like this. Do you think if I make it big enough, it's big enough? If you move right here and edit it like that, or should we just read it? What do you think?
It's about 4 minutes long.
Yeah. Let's see how it works. And if you guys can't see it, then I'll just read.
So we are on a live feed here.
I know, this might be this one really cool. What you can do is just go to YouTube and look up social media 2014. But let me just see if this will.
Maybe we can share it with everybody too afterwards.
Yeah.
I can send an email out to everybody.
Can you guys see that, or is this just silly? Let's read it out loud. Okay. I have it on.
Why don't we? Is it all right if we just jump into some social media questions immediately?
Well, one thing what I wanted to do is find out like the top 3 things that you guys would like to get out of this in relation to social
Well,
media.
first of all, who has a Facebook page? Good. Who has an Instagram page? Okay. Anybody on Twitter?
I'm on everything I possibly do, so.
Okay, great.
Good.
Just want to make sure it was relevant.
Yeah.
I do have some questions about LinkedIn, though. I've heard good and bad about LinkedIn.
What have you heard?
Well, some people say that it's directed completely for business, period.
It tends to.
About 80-85% of its development is leaning towards hiring, business management, business news. Yeah.
Any employed person could have a listing, because you just basically list your job experience, your skills, your strengths.
Well, somebody was saying that they got out of LinkedIn because she got a virus from it
How long ago was that?
2 months ago.
Really? Because it did kind of take a dip, but it's back up right now, and it's one of the top. There's some statistic, like every second you have.
There's 187 million monthly active users. More than 2 users sign up for LinkedIn every second. Wow. 39 million students in region college graduates on LinkedIn. LinkedIn reaches a total of 200 countries and territories geographically. 41% of LinkedIn visitors are mobile. 44,000 is the average number of daily LinkedIn mobile job applications.
It's a very active site. I mean, it is growing too. Depending on, again, it goes back to the demographic. You know, who are you dealing with? If you're in HR, you know, human resources, you're hiring people, looking for the right. Boy, that can be a great resource.
It's more of a business specific to hiring and networking related.
Press releases, even, you know, business related, you know, entrepreneurship press releases can be used, you know.
It's not necessarily something you'd be selling.
Yeah. So your product is hand cream, right? Is that what it is?
Oh, it's Bath and Body stuff.
Bath and Body stuff. Okay. I would say
No.
Your distributor.
She's a distributor. She had
You could have a listing as a distributor for that company.
Yeah.
I'm on there.
Yeah.
But I don't get very much feedback.
Well, what I would say for whatever your products are, your business are, what you first have to look at is the age range, your demographics, like you were saying, for that particular product, for that business. If it's a restaurant, it's going to be more abroad. It'll be more geographically related. But right now, Facebook is the #1 top social media site. But Facebook is also getting less and less popular with the younger users. Instagram, Snapchat, WeChat, all these different other smaller ones divided amongst all the younger kids. That they like that. There's more privacy. Their parents are now on Facebook. So Facebook is a little less safe for the younger kids. So if you have a younger demographic, you definitely want to be on Instagram. Instagram is
Well, Instagram has its own needs too, because it's just photos. Right?
yeah.
And Instagram is an immediate way to begin getting followers. You post a neat picture of something, you know, obviously on Facebook it's similar too, but Instagram is very, very active. Like, it's very important to use, you know, hashtags as well, so that people can actually, you know, they're searching that topic and.
This says 23% of teens consider Instagram as their favorite social network.
For example, I just posted a very, like a sneak peek photo of that cake. It wasn't a full, it was just a very close up. And I got 4 new followers. Wow. And I don't know, immediately, within 20 minutes of posting it.
I took a picture on our blueberry picking trip the other day. I experiment all the time with various things, and we got 16 likes, people I didn't even know. They weren't even my followers before.
Just from hashtags.
Yeah, it was just from hashtags, but yeah.
The biggest difference as far as engagement between Instagram and Facebook Facebook has a longer lifespan. If you post something, it can, and someone likes it, it will show up on their feed and so on and so forth, and it shares humongously. And then if someone likes it again 6 months later, it can have a whole nother lifespan. On Instagram, you have about 12 to 24 hours, and then it disappears on the feed. And then you're lucky if someone is searching through, if they happen to find your profile and then they're trolling your photos, and they may like it again, or if you hashtagged it, and they're searching that hashtag, and they scroll all the way down, but it's all time-stamped, and that's where it sits forever. You can remove your hashtag and re-add it again, and it's still going to put you right back in place where you originally posted it. And so that's one thing to think about between Facebook and Instagram.
And to add to that, Facebook has really been pushing their paid advertising. So I don't have the exact date stamp on when all the changes started to really begin to be implemented. I know it was probably more like around a year and a half ago, but you promote your posts. Basically, obviously Facebook needs to make money to survive, pay their employees, and build a business. But the paid posts are getting senior positioning, obviously. So
Instagram is beta testing paid advertising also, but it's not released yet.
Facebook, this thing, I've showed you. So many people, I won't add it. When you go to check your messages, and you have that message installer, they want access to freaking every.
That, it's kind of, I have it and I use it all the time. From what I've read, you're not giving extra access to that. I mean, don't take my word for it, but you're not giving them access.
List of what they want access to.
It's kind of what you already are giving access to if you have the majority of other apps that people have. So it's not, you're not giving away everything. You can use it without it. You could just get your messages on your desktop, but I use it all the time. I also the alumni connection relations person for the school, so I hardly ever use email. For that demographic, I hardly ever use email. I almost 100% contact them on Facebook. So I use the messenger, and like I get probably 10 messages a day from alumni using Facebook. That's the new way to contact them.
And the messenger is a very interesting thing, just in terms of what I talked about earlier. You have a technology that comes out that all of a sudden, I don't know if you've seen the reviews on Messenger as an app, but the reviews are not good. I mean, there was a lot of, whether it's true or not, that expect specifics of it, and I read through it and I understand it, but what she said, basically all the details that we already have available on Facebook, Google, if you use Gmail, I mean, every movement is basically being monitored.
Well, of course. So in order to
I
get
always
messages on your phone, you have to install it. I think that's.
Yeah, but that right there is the example of where trends and markets change. There might be, and most likely, I'm not going to say, but a company developing something that is a very secure, safe to use, doesn't give away your personal app, that is, you know what I mean? It could change the whole trend because of this. I don't know if you know about 3 or 4 years ago, and there was some Facebook policy that all the images that you post were then owned by Facebook. Do you remember that?
That wasn't actually true though.
It was a rumor.
But you realize what it did to what happened almost overnight with the user base. It was like, we need something new. So with that Messenger app, it's a very similar thing, where a trend in technology overnight, because the populace either believes it, whether it's true or not, it can change. So becoming too dependent on your email, you always talk to your customer directly, right? So
should a person just make that their personal choice then? Install it or not?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, I'm not going to advise one or the other, because what the data is being used for is every way that they make money as a business. It's analytics, it's demographics, everything we're talking about right now. Understanding your people, understanding your customer. It's all collected for various statistical reasons. So, and who knows what else.
Let me ask this question. So, you guys that have Facebook, is this your personal Facebook, or do you have a business page? Both. Okay, good. I want to say how important that is for any of your businesses that you have a business page, not just your personal page. It's really easy to set up if you don't have one. Right now I'm managing 4 business pages. I have my own personal one, and I have a couple of 3 or 4 groups. And you have different reasons for having those things. Like I have a private alumni group that we have about 1,000 members on. We talk about, alumni weekends or different activities.
And do you touch on each one of those every day?
Yes, multiple times a day. Like, right, I found a happy medium for our main school Facebook page, which you can look up. It's the Delphine School. And I basically, happy medium is about 1 to 2 posts a day. Sometimes I'll go a little bit in between. And I found the top engaging type of a post is a photo. Not 4 photos, 1 photo. Sometimes a video, but it has to be a short with a very good description video. Articles, no. I mean, sometimes yes, but most of the time no. So you have to kind of look at and play with it. Like it took me maybe a good couple of months before I really felt comfortable with how am I going to engage our public, and that's parents, prospective parents, kids looking at the school, a lot of current parents, and some students. How to engage best and how to show the things that we're doing at the school. Make it like he was saying, like your website is your store. So we want it to bring the school that much closer to people that are on Facebook, to our public. What I thought was interesting, I was just looking at this. Right now, there's 1.2 billion monthly active users on Facebook. Wow. 1 billion are mobile users. So that's pretty cool. I mean, having a so important because you're not too and a couple of the really successful local businesses. There's a coffee shop on the same farm kind of was always relevant and was what your customers wanted. And like I said, it might take a little bit to get that, but if it's boring, if it's not relevant, if it's a bunch of text, they're not going to like it. You're going to see your statistics that are down. That's great. One thing I love about Facebook is you can go look on the Facebook pages on your insights, and you can see right away, okay, this one was a total failure, this one was fantastic. We do ads. I do ads sometimes, and I recommend that. Look into that because you can also reach a much broader.
It's a paid service.
Yeah, it's a paid service, but in terms of what you get back, it can be really good. Like, let's say I want to reach people in Idaho that are between this age and this age.
And college graduates.
Yeah, exactly. Or that are interested in snowboarding. I can do that. You can do that with that kind of thing. I don't know if there's any other kind of advertising right now, except for maybe Google, that you can get that kind of detailed, specific, and you can target your posts for that, which is great. I love doing that.
We did really well. I helped develop an online presence for a mud run called Zombie Insanity a year and a half ago in Florida, and we had like 5,000 Facebook followers within a few months, but we had paid campaigns running. And we found a way to we found the right demographic, and it was college students. It was younger guys that were really active outdoors. So we really targeted the specific, and we made every penny that we invested in the advertising, we made it count. In addition to that, coupled with really great organic optimization, we had people coming in on the Facebook page, and every post that we put up, every natural post that we put up, because we had so many natural page likes, we're actually interacting with the posts, like awesome picture, and what better does it get than zombies? Right?
Yeah. And so I can best understand. So you have the Bath and Body. What's your business? Yeah, you don't have to. You're just looking at the future. Okay, and then you
service.
A
I did natural candies.
Oh, cool. That's a neat.
Legal. Oh, okay. So one thing I was that I learned when I was first getting into running various Facebook pages is you really have to live where your public live. So if they're on Facebook, if they're on Instagram, go.
Right, not like physically in the same city, but.
So, you know, like, it has to be something that you're comfortable with. Find out, like, for you, maybe there's a group of health conscious, you know, local group. I have one of my pages that I manage is for local farm fresh foods, just because I like that thing. And then you get all kinds of people, you see who your public are, and you just on there on a regular basis. Because we work at the school, I'm on homeschooling groups, local homeschooling groups, parent groups, that kind of thing, because you want to know what your public are thinking. You want to know what's going on in their mind, what are their situations, what are their problems that they're trying to solve, and all that. And if you're not doing that, you're not current. So Twitter's really great for that, following various people that are talking about the same kind of things that your public are talking about. Finding those groups that you're on and being active in those groups. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be active, but it's good because sometimes you get the best survey information by just asking a question on those groups. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I could have paid thousands of dollars for this information. I just got it for free. And people love giving their opinion. So that's
No, that doesn't happen on the internet.
and just an interesting thing in terms of finding products on Facebook or on social media. A few days ago, I really was into wool capes. Decided I really had to have a wool cape for winter. I just decided. So I went on Etsy.
Everybody needs a wool cape. Huh?
I went on Etsy. I went on Pinterest. I went on Instagram and Facebook. And just within searching on those, I was able to find like the top 5 companies that were selling these. And they did a really good job of being on those different sites. Etsy is fantastic for homemade stuff, but it's also on candy. Yeah,
You did really well
Yeah.
on Etsy.
Yeah.
Do you ship? Depends on the time of year. That's my biggest.
I would think
my
Facebook
biggest- Have you
would
ever
be
seen
really-
Etsy before? Yeah, I've been on there a little bit. Okay. Not very much, but yeah, it's just because I have a very temperature sensitive product, so shipping is totally.
I would think if you're local, that Facebook would be really, really good. And getting the good hashtags and then also getting your.
You know what hashtags are?
I do, and you know, that's one of my big nebulous questions is how do you even know what hashtags apply to what you're doing? You know, people tend to assign a hashtag to add emphasis to what they're posting about as opposed to really being a truly searchable item. Well, I'll answer that one, because I don't have a business either, I just have a hobby of making cakes. So I have an Instagram account, I have a personal one, which is for me and my kids and my husband and Christmas time and whatever. And then I have my other one, which is solely just for my cakes. But I don't, you have a question?
No, it's amazing. I looked at it earlier when
Oh,
I
thank you.
saw the.
But I don't ship. I don't have a website to send them to. I don't have anything. So I just have that one avenue. And I'm not ready for that because I'm not, you know, it's a hobby.
It's not like a bakery.
So my hashtags are very literal. Like for this cake, it would be naked cake, because that's what it is. I would say lemon, blueberry, cream cheese, frosting, baking, cake, and pretty cake. I would do all of those words. And then you could do really funny ones that build character interest, or you get some people that will be searching for these hashtags like yummy, yum nom nom,
Eat more
porn,
dessert.
take porn, dessert, all sorts of
sparkles.
You drive yourself crazy coming up with all these.
But
Well,
you
that's,
can
you don't
also-
have to do all of them.
And you have to
You can
test them.
you can also search on the
And it will show you
where
where
you
your
got it
popular
on
ones are.
here when you're here, go here.
There are. That's a
No,
tag. Like,
There's all sorts of hashtags that are legit. Like if you search for them, there's a
Yeah.
whole screen.
yeah.
But
And-
I had to learn that, and I know which ones work,
how
and which
many
ones don't.
I'm going to make a recommendation as well on that.
I just
narrow it down a
started
little bit more.
Instagram like a month ago.
I think Instagram would be really good.
Well,
I'm still very,
Yeah. Yeah,
It takes a little exploring.
it definitely does.
Oh.
Yeah, and then one thing I want to say, the way I look at social media is a really fantastic opportunity to combine word of mouth with marketing. And word of mouth, I think I was reading a statistic on Facebook, in general, 90% of people believe word of mouth reviews versus 14% for advertising.
Very true.
And on social media, you have that beautiful combination of them. So you have the ability, like she was saying, that a post lives longer on Facebook. So you have the ability to share. So anything that you can get, like a beautiful infographic about the types of candies or something like that, something that's useful to your public that they'd want to share.
Well, I really like on Facebook that if it drops down, that somebody comments, it kicks it right back.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I
then
won't do that on Instagram.
yeah, I won't do that on Instagram. And Instagram is just in its infancy on starting the advertising. I don't know where that's going to go. It's much. I think there's more of a potential for a backlash on Instagram because they're living in this small feed, and you throw something in there, it's very obvious that it's advertising.
It's not who you're following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stands out.
Yeah, and on Facebook, they're constantly asking for feedback on what, does this look like an ad, does this look like an ad? So they're doing a pretty good job of actually not putting in your face what you don't want in your face. And that's what, but also with your ads, you have to look at it. You don't want to click on an ad. Most people don't want to click on an ad. They want something that's relevant to them that looks more like a post. So when you're doing advertising on there, you can just look at what I love doing is looking at our peers in your industry, see what they're doing. If you have a really successful storefront on Facebook, candy or something like that, a local store, see which the ones that are more popular. On the pages, I always make sure I follow I think you have a choice of 5 different peers that you can ask to follow how they're doing on your page. You can immediately show up there those top, and I always check them. I see what they're doing, what's successful, and then I interact. It's really important also to interact with your peers too, because some of our best ideas are going to different conferences with different private schools.
Yeah, and I was just before I forgot, I just wanted to give you a tip on that. Because you're local, using local hashtag is fine. Use Oregon. And if your candy is sugar-free or it's homemade ingredients, use hashtags that are really relevant. And again,
homemade, sugar-free, Oregon, all of those are valid.
It goes back, and then if you have different flavors, if you're putting up one post on Monday that's strawberry, one post, I'm just using an example, but you want to really test the water, and then you'll see what kind of response you're getting. But
it's overwhelming.
But your market is a local market, it sounds like, mostly right now because the shipping can be a little tricky. But working in the local area, anyway, local and Oregon are like if you're trying to sell local, go with those off the top.
Is it a storefront or are you at home?
No, I work out of my kitchen.
Okay.
That I do have product at 3 local stores and 4 local shops, and I mean, hopefully, I don't know if I will ever go to a true storefront, but
You don't need to.
eventually I would like to build a shop on our property and have event space and,
Yeah.
Well, what I would recommend for you, because it is overwhelming and probably the easiest place to start, first of all, do you even have an Instagram?
because it's been one of those things, it's like I spend so much time with Facebook, and it's just making product, and I actually used to do marketing for a winery, and so it's like those things were always kind of butting heads, and I was doing all that stuff for them, but I didn't do it for me. It's too overwhelming, because I was doing everything, and not just art.
Right.
Totally understand.
So, most of the time what I do is I hop back and forth between my business Facebook and personal Facebook, because let's face it, an awful lot of my business comes from my people.
Yep.
And so whenever I do something at a Whole Foods store, I will add their Twitter handle and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's cool when I get a post on my Twitter from Whole Foods, but.
Yeah.
Well, that's a question I guess you have to answer yourself. Like for me, I approach Instagram kind of hesitantly because I don't really want more business. I can take it, but I can't accept a lot. It's very little. So if you're not ready to expand a great deal, then you kind of have to decide how big you want to go with Instagram. But if you do decide to do Instagram, which I do recommend because candy, super popular. You have cats on the internet, you have candy, cake, cookies, that whole sweet tooth. You have food in general.
Another hashtag.
Yeah.
Sweet tooth hashtag.
Tooth. You would just spend some time before trying to get attention yourself. Just spend some time choosing some people to follow that are relevant to you.
That's a really important thing.
That's where I can show you afterwards how to do that. Find some other fancy places. They don't have to go maybe a nice restaurant, high-end, or just get some people that are relatively already established on Instagram, and you can just shadow them for a while. You notice what kind of pictures they're posting, what kind of hashtags they're using, and just kind of see their successful actions, and then you can mirror that in your own way.
Right.
By no means are you copying them, but you can use them as inspiration.
Right.
You know, clean backdrops or maybe pictures of them in their presentation form at Whole Foods, because then you can piggyback on Whole Foods and give them their promotion, but also kind of use their name at the same time. So yes, it's intimidating, but that's where I would start, is just kind of laying low for a little bit and choosing some people to follow and just see what they do for a while and get a feel for it. Because an Instagram post, you post a picture, you write a description, and you add hashtags if you want them, and you're done.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more to it. And you can share that to your Facebook page too.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that a lot, but you know, a couple times a week probably would be okay. And then you have your Facebook post for the day as well, and then those Facebook people will see that it came from Instagram, and then they'll follow you on Instagram maybe. So does that make it a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't really have so much a problem putting things out there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, candy's pretty. It's hard not to have a
Exactly.
beautiful shot all the time.
Yeah.
One thing I do run into is my shot looks really the same all the time because I'm taking pictures of stuff and I try to, but at the same time, you don't want to handle it too much because then it becomes not.
What about like the process of making it, or where you get your products from, or something like that, kind of changing up like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of, and
Candy making.
and you have pictures of it like on the shelf at Whole Foods?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's not pretty. I mean, for me, it's like, this is my stuff.
Yeah.
It's in Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And look, it's like I've got all these. This is me out of my kitchen.
Yeah.
What the heck? This doesn't happen to moms from the sticks.
Right.
And you know, but then you've got all the other things around it. You've got all these giant tags on everything. So I mean, it's visually can look really cluttered, and it's
Yeah.
hard to crop it and make it look prettier for a presentation. But at the same time, it's a grocery store, so it is what it is. But what
Yeah.
I find the most overwhelming about Twitter, Instagram, and to
All
some
of it.
degree Facebook is
Yeah.
all the
That people have?
sorting. No, what? So like when I'm following
Oh, I see.
50 people to, you know, because
Everything they're posting.
if I'm following them, then they know that I'm out there, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The barrage of information is completely unmanageable for somebody with my attention span. And it's overwhelming to the point it's almost like anxiety producing to try to keep track of what everybody else is doing. And on top of
I
that,
wouldn't even
putting
try.
something meaningful out.
Honestly, I wouldn't get anxious about all that stuff, because there's not gonna be any way that any of us are, unless we like do nothing but stare at social
You
media.
have to learn to
Yeah,
skim.
and that's kind of,
Yeah,
that's kind
I
of,
do it
that's-
and then when I get up in the morning, I check like the 4 social media sites. I just, you know, skim over the things, take maybe 5 minutes each site as I'm getting ready in the morning. And then throughout the day, if I have a minute, I'll check, but it's not something that I'll go, okay, I'm going to this feed to now check what my people are doing. That's why one thing I think we forgot to mention is if you have, like I was saying, you have to live on that social media, find one that you like and enjoy, and that would be the primary one that you spend
One at
time
a
on.
time,
One
make
at a
them
time.
strong, and then go to the next one.
Yeah, and it could be that for a long while, Facebook might be it, and if that's what you're comfortable on, but if it's not enjoyable and fun, if social media is not enjoyable and fun, then I would recommend maybe Instagram is more what you can handle, just photos. Instagram's a little less overwhelming.
It's less data than Facebook.
One of the reasons I use WordPress, and I know this is a different subject, but I actually use different applications that when you put your blog post up or your post, it pushes out to all the networks.
Yeah.
All of them, whatever ones you want. So
It's already a WordPress.
well, there you go. So you might already be using a similar tool, but you can publish to all social media networks in one swoop, so you don't have to sit there going to each one. But it takes us back to the very beginning topic, where this underestimation of being a business owner, where you're here, but where do you really need to be, to actually be able to keep, because not replying to your social contacts is not a good thing. If you can't reply and keep up, if someone has a question, hey, I'm having a birthday party, my kids want your candy, can I buy 5 pounds of it, whatever it is. And you forget that you miss it because it was on a Twitter or it was on a Facebook comment or something. So managing your social content is very, very important. And there are third-party tools, but honestly, personally, I found them to be very ineffective unless you are just doing social media and that's all you're doing.
Like I would say for you, stick with the 1 or 2 that you're comfortable with. We don't have a whole lot of time left. Why don't we open it for questions? Any questions?
We have a half hour.
12.
It's to 12.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm using Hootsuite. Is that, do you guys recommend? Or
Yeah.
Hootsuite, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I always say Hootsuite.
That's a good one for managing social media. The only thing that I would say is it's important that your social media channels like your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter have unique personalities. I wouldn't recommend putting up one post or one tweet that forwards to all of them because then it's like, why have them?
Yeah.
I try to have a unique flavor, like for Instagram. Maybe it's the more artsy shots of like how coffee is made with the nice hashtags. And then for Facebook, you would maybe have a contest or, this is our unique flavor of the month or whatever you're going to have.
Yeah.
And your Twitter, whatever's relevant for the people that would follow on Twitter that love coffee. That's my only warning on. I've heard of that, and I don't personally use it, but I know that at the school we have some of the social media guys that do use it, and it can be really useful. I'll just watch the making everything a bland thing as opposed to unique communication where it sounds like it's coming from a different individual and not just I know I'm going to look at all the social medias and have it the same.
Yeah, that's totally true. Being in that's true.
Do you kind of give me some examples of social media sites that work well with services? Like, I'm a doula, a child person.
Oh, Facebook.
I mean, other than Facebook.
Oh,
Instagram would work.
maybe for like babies.
If you have permission from your clients and stuff, that would be a great feed for someone to follow, seeing the relationship that you have with your mothers. And even photos of births and stuff, as long as they're appropriate.
YouTube, if you have like what you also have to think is something. If you're trying to promote yourself, what would your client? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Our child was born underwater. We did a water.
Yeah, we're both not. Yeah. I would think Instagram would be great.
Instagram and then YouTube if you.
Process.
Yeah.
And then
YouTube.
YouTube could be like, what would your clients want to know? Like, if you're a pregnant mother, what would make you feel secure and comfortable having as a doula? You could be up there talking and give like the 5 tips on a successful labor, or the best things to be eating to relax yourself, or something like that. And I know if I was searching you as a doula and I saw a video, I would be really interested in actually seeing who you are, seeing your presence, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's important.
Do you have a blog? Like, what is your website right now?
I haven't really developed it because
A blog would be
work
really
here as
good.
a coffee roaster.
Oh.
I see.
And that's a whole other thing that would take me away from it. So
Understood.
I think a blog would be very.
That would be really great. Like,
That's like a hobby,
Yeah, it is kind of a hobby. At this point. Yeah.
And I would say start following on Instagram, maybe there's like a really cool Twitter doula. I know that there's a lot on Facebook right now.
Yeah, I'm following, like, Anime Gaston, she's in Midway. Eventually I'll be going into midwifery, but,
Find some blogs that you like, I'm sure there's plenty of doulas out there that are putting up all that, and that's really interesting, relevant content. You know, pregnant women love the internet and searching stuff, so, so that would
Candy
be a great.
and
Yeah.
There you go.
you can be the
Which
candy
that's a whole
doula
other
team.
topic. Teaming up is a beautiful thing on social networking.
Yeah, and
Running
that's
contests and tagging other companies and
Yeah,
piggybacking on
always
each
give props to
other.
other companies. You always want to do that because especially on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, it's really important to do that. I always, when I go to a restaurant, I always check in. We take pictures of our food all the time and put on Instagram.
We're those girls.
Yeah.
but
But
that
if you're not on Yelp or you're not on Facebook, you're not going to get our. We're not going to review you. You're not going to get our promotion because you're not there.
Under the search, then we won't have that opportunity. So I know it can seem really overwhelming, but the more you live in it, the easier it'll become. And both of us, we've had minimal formal training. Most of it's just life. We've done it a lot.
well, you worked with me in the past, too.
Yeah, and my husband.
I've had 2 children, so I lived on the internet for many months.
Any other questions? Specific questions?
I was just going to add on that whole partnership idea, like she was saying, it's really cool because you can have different companies that aren't your direct competitors, but they have a very similar relationship as you, that you guys can work together and refer business. I always go back to that point of you have to step away from the idea that the internet's going to solve all our problems. We have to go back to that old school business kind of thing where we were dealing with people again, when we were talking with people, where we weren't just expecting the internet to take care of our next sale for us.
You know, I would think that you guys would do well. There's this, I look it up, but this coffee company in Salem that used Facebook. I know it's not exactly the same, but they use Facebook to some kind of 3 to 4x their sales, just using Facebook as a word of mouth type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what we're exploring right now.
Yeah, I'll look it up because I found they're really interesting, and they also do the partnership of, it's a restaurant, another restaurant in Salem. The center I went to was in Salem, so it's kind of all Salem related. Huh? No, I don't think so. I think, but the restaurant was called Word of Mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Funny enough, but they,
That's a really fun.
It's a nice
Yeah.
house. It's a little house.
yeah, and they use social media to do fantastic things. But it all comes back to that person, the lady that was sitting there talking. She was so humble and so sweet, and she loved people, and she loved what she was doing, and she loved reaching out and having that communication. This is just another really good way to be able to have easy, fast communication with your public, with your clientele. And I love having that communication, that one-on-one communication with companies. Like I will go on Facebook, like I was saying, the cake thing. If I ask a question or comment, if someone doesn't get back to me within like 2 or 3 hours, I feel like there's not a live person there who's really interested. If I hear back from someone, I went with the company that got back to me fastest, not necessarily the company that was the cheapest.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
for towards the end, is there anything else, anything specific you want to know about? I mean, we're also on,
I'm going to
April and I
recommend.
are on
Oh.
Facebook.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
We have a roaster right behind you. Nika is one of the roasters here at Caravan Coffee, and she did a phenomenal job.
I was going to recommend to you WordPress.com.
Yeah.
You can set up your blog for free. Like if you just wanted to start writing, just on the side thing, you can set up your site and everything.
I started to get a site up before I worked here. I started to get a site up on Google, like get your business on.
Okay.
And then I wanted to connect that with a blog. And I was using it with like Blogger, which I don't like.
Sure. Well, WordPress was designed to be a blog.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a way, like I'm not technically.
They made it so simple. I mean, like you sign up and it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to enter credit card or anything. You can just set up a free account, and the domain name, it has their domain name in it. subdomain, like it's like WordPress.
What if you have the domain name?
You can forward it to it from your domain host. There's a way to resolve that too. So yeah, and it's if you already have the domain name, you can make it forward. So there's other solutions on that. But I mean, just to get familiar with it, and if you want to just start writing, just to have whatever you're doing as a hobby, that's a great resource. And there are other solutions out there. It's not the only one, but I just recommend it because I've had great, and I understand the philosophy behind the open code and everything. You see a lot over the years, and you begin to realize why it's such a valuable asset. It would be like if car engines, the proprietary patents on water, cars that run on water, cars that run on other stuff aren't all owned by gas companies and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get all political.
I'm gonna leave a couple of my cards here so that if anyone wants to ask me any questions, you feel free to friend me on Facebook.
Yeah.
And feel free. I'm also leaving a couple things on the school. Welcome to come up, take a tour, even just because it's a really pretty campus.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We have a giveaway today too, don't we?
Do we?
We do.
We do. How does the giveaway work?
I don't know. How should we
Kay's in charge of that.
Oh, okay.
Well, before we hand off too, I want to show everybody who's watching. This is what Caravan Coffee looks like. You can get it by subscription. You don't even have to leave home, delivered to your door, and it is absolutely amazing. And it comes just like this. You get information about the farmers, the origin, and everything. It's awesome. So if you like coffee, then you should order from these guys.
So, how do you want to do the giveaway? Do you want to do like a number or something?
You guys should just say, I'm thinking of a number.
To these two ladies because we should be exempt anyway.
Oh.
So.
Well, maybe we should just give each of them a bag then.
Well, just one bag.
One bag each.
Well, the one over there.
Oh, there's another. Were these ones?
Those are actually going to people.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
I can't give those away.
Okay, so we want to do a number.
Sure.
Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'll put a number. So number from 1 to 10, right? And see who's the closest.
Sure. Or whoever got the closest birthday, or whatever.
Okay, I'm holding a number from 1 to 10. What's your number?
3.
Huh?
3. 5.
Woo!
Here's one of my business cards.
I have business cards.
Yes, I would love to have one. I have yours already.
Yes, you do.
That's my business card.
This is a new one.
Yes. There you go.
I like the business
I
card.
love the cassette tape. I love the cassette tape.
I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is so cool. Thank you.
Here, well.
Thanks.
I'm so excited.
Oh, perfect.
I don't have business cards, but my Instagram is April Bakes. And it's just pretty pictures of cakes.
They are
Follow it if
They
you
are
like.
really nice, yes. Well, for all of you out there watching live, thank you for tuning in. Caravancoffee.com, check them out, they are awesome. And we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
All right.